Welcome to GESARA for Dummies. It is June 3, 2025. Let's look at today's news from Professor William Liebenberg, prepared by Martin Stein. Please like, share and subscribe. Join our Telegram group in the comments below. Thank you. Let's go. The GESARA Law. General Quast spent much of his Sean Ryan interview talking about Spacebuilt. The other company he mentioned is called Genesis Systems. Genesis Systems has a product called WaterCube, which can generate water out of the air. Power them with the energy beamed from space, by satellites built in space, and you have clean water for the entire world. Let's watch.
How can we sustainably solve water scarcity? Genesis Systems is privileged to begin answering this question now. Introducing WaterCube. WaterCube is an achievement in science, engineering, and design brought to the world through an unwavering connection to humanity, innovation, and persistence. Delivering more than 1,000 gallons per day or 2,000 liters of production at 60% humidity and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, WaterCube can deliver fresh water from the air at humidities as low as 10% and delivers higher output, up to 2,000 gallons or 4,000 liters a day in higher humidity. WaterCube shatters old world paradigms and produces fresh water where and when needed most. WaterCube meets or exceeds EPA standards to deliver virgin fresh water that has never touched the ground. By moving ambient air through WaterCube, water vapor is harvested and converted to water at an efficiency never before possible. WaterCube produces efficient mass water well below 1 kilowatt hour of energy per gallon. The system can be powered by solar energy, wind, geothermal, or traditional electric power, including portable power systems. Later models will have increased power performance that can make WaterCube an all but passive water production system, requiring very low amounts of energy.
President Trump has been telling us all along that these people are central casting actors, run by military generals. Q Military Intelligence repeatedly stated, "What makes a great movie? Great actors." Enjoy the show. Now watch this 2-minute video. Q military intelligence has set up actors, for Biden included, to expose all the hideous crimes of the cabal, and to awake the masses. Let's watch their opening post, with some facts that follows.
I don't think it's him.
Not at the moment, not at the moment.
He's just a vehicle. Let's not kid ourselves. Joe is shot, okay? Is not which party controls our government, but whether our government is controlled.
It was all done by the military, through central casting, as President Trump continuously warned us about it. They specialize in double actors. Q military intelligence, you are watching a scripted movie. Central casting. Let's watch. Central Casting is making a movie about the fake Biden presidency. Watch what President Trump is saying about his generals.
And Paul and our great vice president, I don't think anybody wants to hear me speak anymore today, right? So we'll cut it short. But we have so many of our cabinet members here. I see my generals. Those generals are going to keep us so safe. They're going to have a lot of problems the other side. They're going to look at a couple of them. These are central casting. If I'm doing a movie, I pick you, General Mattis, who's doing really well, even Even Chuck likes general management, and General Kelly.
Research Central Casting and Castle Rock Studios Truly, the means to control actor Biden.
I was the perfect person. I was like central casting.
Hey, you know what? And he's central casting. Look at that guy, central casting. And these are central casting. If I'm doing a movie, I pick you, General. Central casting.
Very impressive. Oh, you're central casting. Look at this guy.
Oh, this man's central casting. I watch him all the time. Central casting.
He's a real talent, a real guy, and he is central casting. Do we agree? Central casting. They're central casting, the red suspenders, handsome, beautiful, smart. You couldn't get better central casting.
He is great in every way, and he's central casting. I mean, this is a man that was born for the position.
No, he was central casting like the perfect Supreme Court judge.
These guys are central casting. There's nobody in Hollywood that looks like these people. And they're central casting. I've never seen a group of people like this. Everyone's in perfect shape. My friend, central casting. I always call him central casting. Boy, is that central casting. That's type. So he looked like central casting. He looked like Tom Cruise, but maybe better.
The intellect is extraordinary, and the man is extraordinary. He's central casting.
I assume you like these people. I assume it's central casting. Right, boss? Is this central casting? This is what we want. This is a great, brilliant man. Looks like, I don't know, very tough. Central casting. And you talk about central casting. This guy's out of central casting. I'm telling you, there's nobody in Hollywood that can look like this guy. Yeah, these guys are central casting, like from a movie. Central casting, you can't cast you don't have anybody in Hollywood that looks like these guys. And a great looking central casting, and we have great generals, a great central casting general. Let's look at them.
Ne kadar güzel insanlar
Central casting.
onlarla ilişki kurmak ne kadar.
He's like central casting for ownership of a hotel. Everyone is central casting. Central casting. Glasses, pad, boom.
I watch Judge Kavanaugh, who's central casting. This guy's like central casting.
You couldn't pick a better guy in Hollywood. There's no actor that could do it better. You are so central casting. Great marks, great schools, the best everything, the best of everything. Your family, your wife, your children. You don't have a problem in the world. You are the greatest. You talk central casting, these guys, you couldn't, I mean, it's incredible. They had a master sergeant there. I could take him right now, bring him to Hollywood, make a military movie, and he's the star of the movie. That happened once before, you know. That did happen once before.
Them all. It's never.
Mr. President, what is your response?
I don't hear. Can you speak louder? Every world leader I met with, and
The world is being shown how corrupt these people are, so when it's revealed, they have been executed, there won't be any wars, and the majority will accept it. It's an incredibly brilliant strategic plan, by the military, when you look at the bigger picture. Banks in the economy. A Black Swan event is coming. A Black Swan event is an unpredictable, and rare event with significant, often negative, consequences that are not initially recognized, but are later rationalized as foreseeable. A Black Swan event is coming to crash the old financial system, for the transfer of wealth, as per Trump's executive orders. Let's watch.
I'm announcing today, I'm putting my ass on the line. I'm telling you, there is a Black Swan event coming. A Black Swan event coming. I don't know if we're going to war with Putin. I don't know if another corona is going to come out that is not curable. I don't know whether the Federal Reserve is going to finally implode. I don't know what it is, but it's coming. Because every massive bull market needs to find an excuse to correct. And even though we had a recession that only lasted 70 days or 80 days or whatever it was, last year, the market is way, 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 way overvalued. Excuse me. And the big smart money, if you follow it, which you don't, 95% of them have all taken money off the table. In other words, taken a lot of profits. And they're working with the money that they earned. Back in 2017, December 2017, when Bitfuck got up to $17,000, I said, this is the top of the market for right now. Sell half, keep half, is what I told everybody. Nobody listened. Not one motherfucker listened to me. But in the 7 recessions that I've been through, which coincidentally in the 7 decades that I've been successful, there has been a correction. There's going to be one, and I don't know what it is. I thought for a moment when supposedly the Ruskies supposedly shot at the British ship, supposedly in the last 2-3 days, I thought that was it. And I said, oh my God, we got to get the slide out now. I'm going to miss the I'm going to miss the war. But it didn't happen, so I dodged that one. But something like that's going to happen. And everybody in this room almost is going to get wiped out. Except me. And the Black Swan, these are the stock indices, and this is Warren Buffett's indice, which I don't necessarily follow. And the last time that it was this high was the crash of 2000, the financial crisis. Now, my background is I used to be a Dow theorist. I used to be a gold bug. I was one of the first individuals on the Chicago Board of Option Exchange. I used to trade commodities. There's not one facet of the financial services that I have not been a part of. And in some ways, I was one of the founders, although I wasn't on the board, of Certified Financial Planners. I've got a lot of experience. And when I tell you the fucking end's coming, the tsunami's coming, I know what I'm talking about. And you're not prepared. Not just you, nobody's prepared. Margin debt at an all-time high. You borrow to buy stocks. Most people don't realize that don't own Bitfuck, you can leverage it 95%. And that's why the swings are so great in the price of Bitcoin. Because when you borrow 95 cents on the dollar and it drops $10, you got to come up with equity. You've got to come up with more money, more rubles, more shekels, more pounds, more euros. Total margin debt. Dot-com bubble of 2000, Great Recession, now. It's got to correct. There are kids that are teaching seminars now and they're collecting money from you that say that the new is we're never going to have recessions anymore. We're never going to have bear markets anymore. And we're going to borrow until we all drop dead. Not true. Not true. This is very much like the bubble in synthetic asset-backed CDOs before the great financial crisis, in that price and setting in that market was not done by fundamental security level analysis, but by massive capital flows based on Nobel-approved models. And the risk wasn't accounted for. Most people that lose money have done it because of a poor risk assessment. They don't understand. In the last 15 or 20 years, you didn't have, well, other than in 20 years, the collapse of the dot-com market, you don't know how to assess risk. Do you realize 87% of all the money managed on the planet, many trillions, is managed by people under 30 years old? 87% of all the money managed is managed by dipshits under 30 years old. Do you want somebody 28, 27 years old managing your fucking assets? I certainly hope not.
A black swan is an unpredictable event that is beyond what is normally expected of a situation and has potentially serious consequences. Black swan events are characterized by their extreme rarity, severe impact, and widespread insistence that were obvious in hindsight. The black swan event will be the start of the new monetary network. Everything is ready for change away from the fiat and Bitcoin to metals backed via ISO blockchain regulated assets. Only the Alliance, with its Q military intelligence, as its backbone controls everything, the rest are puppets. Payment systems. Bitcoin versus Ripple XRP. The world is changing. Nearly 8.2 billion people worldwide today. 6.7 billion people have smartphones. 5.44 billion people use the internet. 562 million people own crypto. Only 7% of the world's population owns crypto and digital assets. 100% of the global population will use blockchain in the future. Why? In 1990, only 0.5% of the world's population used the internet. We are now in the 1990s internet phase of this new monetary asset class. The new financial system is breaking open, and you are a pioneer. Bitcoin is centralized, controlled by one unknown entity, uninvestigated and more unregulated than ever. The cover of Satoshi, who was branded to make the world think he created Bitcoin, was not a genius wanting to free the world. No, it is a three-letter agency, to keep us enslaved who designed it, the CIA. The SEC going continuously after Ripple, and not Bitcoin, should have woken everyone up. BRICS will wake the world up. Bitcoin is a fiat cryptocurrency, backed by absolutely nothing. XRP bridge unit is earmarked to be backed by gold. XRP officially decoupled from Bitcoin. Watch proof. XRP is ISO 20022 compliant, Bitcoin is not. Full list of ISO 20022 coins. XRP, Cardano, ADA. Quant, QNT. Algorand, ALGO. Stellar, XLM. Hedera hash graph, HBAR. IOTA, MIOTA. XDC network, XDC. XVG Verge currency. Trillionaire Dollar Man, Dan Pena, a big Trump supporter, vehemently warns. Stop and watch this 60 seconds video.
If you knew who was really behind Bitcoin, you would run as fast as you fucking could to sell it. I know, 100%. If you knew who owned Bitcoin or who started Bitcoin, and you had Bitcoin, you couldn't sleep at night. I know, 100%. And when the real founder of Bitcoin comes out, it is my humble opinion, and there's nothing humble about me, Bitcoin will go to fucking zero in a microsecond, whoop, like that. And I know who's behind Bitcoin. And it ain't some fucking Japanese guy in a cave. I know the guy. And when that comes out, you heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero.
Bitcoin is the child, organ harvesting, raping, laundering, drug running, trafficking, deep state coin. Bitcoin was designed for nefarious acts. The danger. Only 10 mining pools control the entire Bitcoin network, meaning it is heavily centralized. The following countries basically control Bitcoin mining, 2024. United States 37.8%. China 21.1%. Kazakhstan 13.2%. Canada 6.4%. Russia 4.7%. The BRICS bloc, and BRICS-friendly nations, control about 40% of the Bitcoin mining operation. If all Bitcoin miners stop, Bitcoin's price would immediately collapse. On the other hand, if all gold mining stopped, gold's price would skyrocket to the moon, the complete opposite. Tell me which one is a true hedge, meaning a way of protecting yourself against financial loss, gold or Bitcoin? This makes Bitcoin a centralized platform, controlled by 10 miners. The key is to invest in a decentralized system that is impossible to be controlled and manipulated, and which is backed by gold, XRP soon. The event. A Black Swan event is coming, to crash the old financial system, for the transfer of wealth, as per Trump's executive orders. The Black Swan event will be the start of the new monetary network. Everything is ready to change away from the fiat and Bitcoin to metals backed via ISO blockchain regulated assets. If you bought Bitcoin, hoping it would give you financial freedom, thinking it's sound money, then you have forgotten the purpose of why Bitcoin was created, for the wise. XRP tokens were all 100% created the day the XRP ledger was created, meaning they cannot be mined. Therefore, the more the public buy XRP, the more decentralized it becomes. Owning XRP will make you an important asset to banks, instead of a liability. You will soon be able to borrow against your XRP, without selling, and be able to earn yield by letting the bank hold your XRP. You'll be very valuable to them, because they will need it for liquidity. XRP will usurp Bitcoin, to become the face of the crypto market, especially as institutional investors continue to take an interest in the token. Stop and watch this short video explaining XRP to you.
You need to understand the gravity of what's about to happen. Federal Reserve notes are going to be hyperinflated away. The exchange rate between Federal Reserve notes and RLUSD, real US dollar, stablecoin issued by Ripple, trading over the distributed ledger technology that they have already with all their NDAs signed with all these central banks and foreign nations that can then settle in their own currencies, eliminating all of the political leverage that the SWIFT system has that's getting backed by the Federal Reserve and backed and enforced by the IRS. They are collapsing that old system. And anybody who's not in on XRP, you are losing out on the ability for all of money and assets to be traded. XRP is a money/asset processor. You need to buy it. Save your damn family, because they are collapsing this one. They are collapsing it, and it's painfully obvious. You don't pay off $500 billion worth of losses by the banks. You don't do that. No. You enforce a new system, and everybody has to have an exchange rate to get into it. These people are fucking evil. They don't give a shit about you. I do. I've been trying to tell everybody about this. So far, the people that have listened to me, they have 4x'd their returns just on XRP, and I tell them still, don't fucking ever sell it. Don't ever sell it. You know why? Because then you can use that XRP inside of a liquidity pool between sovereign nations or between institutions and earn a yield, a passive income. Forever. Forever. This is how you get out of the fucking hamster wheel. You need to understand what's about ready to happen. $36 trillion worth of debt, you don't pay it off. You collapse it. You default. They know this is happening. Trump knows. Kamala knew it too. They all know. They all know. That's why crypto is not going to be taxed. Crypto that's made here in the United States, okay, there's only a certain amount of companies that make crypto in the United States. Bitcoin is what's going to be used to help collapse this whole goddamn thing. Because all Bitcoin is, it's not a store of value. That's how you know it's a scam. It is a money processor. That's it. You know why? Because their system, the Bitcoin system, at least is not 3 to 5 days to settle, like SWIFT is. And they're only settling in Tether, USDT, or whatever else, but they're doing it over the Bitcoin system because it's, nine transactions per block. It's too slow, and it's too expensive, and not all of it is pre-mined, which means most of the power is with China because they have all the miners. They're going with a company, the United States Treasury is, Ripple, that already has everything pre-mined. All of the ledgers are already out there. They have all these NDAs. It's going to be a flip of the fucking switch. You won't have time to get into it. You won't have time. And the time is running out. Now that it's starting to finally rise in price, you should be fucking scared. You should be scared about what this actually means globally, internationally, everywhere. Get the fuck out of this system. This is your warning. This is the 10th chime of midnight? That's why I'm being so adamant about this.
The opportunity lies in entering the bottom and exiting at the top. Wise up, it's time. The end. But wait, there is more. Let's watch these two short videos. 1. The fiat US Treasury Bonds will collapse, the global fiat system will collapse, the fiat Bitcoin will collapse, only gold and gold-backed stablecoins will remain.
There is no way the US is going to pay off $38 trillion worth of debt at all, with an increasing debt of $2 trillion per year. Doesn't matter what Trump does, doesn't matter what Elon Musk did or does, it doesn't matter what Doge does, DOG, Department of Government Efficiency, it doesn't matter, because Congress is spending the money. US Treasuries now are dropping in value. Quite simple. Back in 2014-15, 95% of US Treasuries were bought by overseas investors. That number's dropped down to 75%. If you add on to that the fact that the dollar is getting weaker, so you've got a weaker dollar, so it's not turning into the major reserve currency that was upon a time back in 1971-74 onwards. It was changed over from gold. It's now losing its status as reserve currency. US Treasuries now are not being bought at the level by foreign investors as they were beforehand. Not only that, China, Japan, Saudi Arabia are getting rid of the US Treasuries, so there's going to be a glut of supply, which means that the price is going to go down. Only last week, the Fed quietly bought 48 billion of surplus US Treasuries, and when they bought 48 billion of surplus US Treasuries, that means quite simple, they had to print the money. Where did the money come from? So they quietly printed 48 billion US dollars. Call it quantitative easing, call it yield curve manipulation, call it bond manipulation, bond control, yield control, call it whatever you want. The fact of the matter is that there is going to be a money printing exercise in order to support the bond market. Because if the bond market falls, then it's quite simple. Equity markets will crash, and some analysts are calling for a 47 to 55% drop in the S&P. That is a problem. So where do you go to? Gold. That's why gold is going up, or one of the reasons why gold is going up, and will continue moving up. We're not talking about intraday. We're not talking about on a 2-day swing base. We're talking about long term. Central banks are buying gold because central banks know fine well that when it comes to gold, they're not interested in whether it's up $50 or down $50. They buy it in the concern that the fiscal system is going to fail. So they've been buying gold in quantity since 2008 when the banking crisis hit the global arena. So gold is the one to go to. The dollar's going to devalue and US Treasury is going to fall. If you're interested in getting involved in the webinar on June the 8th, then DM the word webinar where we'll discuss.
2. Who is the Tojan Horse, black sheep leading the Alliance and BRICS who nobody will see coming?
Not a lot of people know that Vladimir Putin is the true leader of what has now become the global anti-George Soros movement. Back in 2015, Russia was the first country to ban Soros-funded open society NGOs on the basis of national security concerns, accusing the billionaire of trying to destabilize Russia and destroy its constitution. Soon after, Macedonia launched its Stop Operation Soros initiative, seeking to uncover and end what it called subversive activities by NGOs tied to Soros. Serbia, Turkey, and Hungary then followed the lead, implementing measures meant to subdue or outright ban Soros-funded activities in their countries. Finally, in 2016, the bad rep of George Soros reached the United States, with Donald Trump boosting Soros's anti-popularity ratings worldwide.
That sums up your Tuesday news. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.